We talk about every dollar having a job. Some dollars, their job is to walk. Other dollars, their job is to jog. And other dollars, their job is to sprint. Now, I'm not very fast, even though I'm a soccer player. And so the difference between me sprinting and jogging is not easily visible. But for most people, you can really tell if they're sprinting versus jogging. Now, why do I bring up this silly analogy? Well, certain people, I would argue most people, want to have enough in each bucket. For example, personally, I have an emergency fund that I do not want it to grow for me. If it grows for me, I'm going to be sad because that means I can't turn it around and get it immediately. I want those dollars walking so I can say, hey, I need to use you because my car just broke. Other dollars I want jogging, that maybe that's for a longer time horizon. And then other dollars I want sprinting because I'm not going to touch that for a very long time. If I yelled at those dollars to come back, it would be difficult because they're busy sprinting. It would take time for them to turn around, unless you're very slow like me, in which case you wouldn't be really much further past the walking. But all jokes aside, this is a very serious thing that most people overlook, and it's a big deal for their planning. So in this new series, Root Drops, what I get to do is bring on amazing advisors like Caleb, who you're about to hear from in just a second, to give us some insight, a little tidbit, a little drop of knowledge when it comes to Roth versus high yield savings and just kind of what other accounts are out there that we should consider and what types of investments might we want to put in those accounts. How did we come up with this? Well, this was a comment that was dropped in our free community, The Root Collective. Check it out on my screen right now. This was dropped by the pseudonym MP, who says, my mother-in-law has a substantial amount of money. We don't know how much, but it's sitting in very low interest savings. I want her to move it to a high yield savings account. But I also had the thought, would she be better off taking the max each year and just putting that into a Roth? She has a pension and Social Security and RMDs. She can do whatever she likes. She doesn't need the money, but it's just losing value. What are the pros, cons of moving it to a high yield savings every year and moving the max contribution into a Roth? Now, the reality is, and I've shared this before, our job is to help our clients live their best lives. And sometimes we get this head trash and there's things you just couldn't know. So what we're going to do is make sure you're aware, okay, is this even an option? And what should we think about when it comes to having high yield savings money and Roth money? Caleb, any thoughts here?
So when we're looking at high yield savings money versus Roth money, there's, as you said, we need to consider what job ultimately do each of these dollars do. A high yield savings account is great if you know that you might need that money soon. If you're saving to, let's say, purchase a car in the next few years, if you have an emergency fund, if there's cash you just need available, a high yield savings account is a great place to put that money. However, if you want that money to grow as much as possible, if you want it to grow tax-free, maxing out a Roth account can be a really great and really beneficial way to really get your money to sprint for you. Now, something that you may not have connected before is a high yield savings account at its core is actually just a superhero account. But all it is you can only invest it in single product that the bank has for you. So let's say that this person had $100,000 that they wanted to invest into their high yield savings account, but maybe they only need about $20,000 in their high yield savings account for their emergency fund, let's say. They could take that other $80,000 and they can make that work even harder for them and go even further for them by putting that into a superhero account and maybe investing in bonds, maybe investing in stocks. I'm not sure what would be the best for this individual, but those could be options to get that money working harder and doing more for them. There's one more thing that we need to note here. In order for you to actually be able to contribute to a Roth, you need to have something called earned income. That means that you need to have money coming in the door in order to be able to contribute directly to a Roth to begin with. So if you go ahead and contribute to a Roth, and I don't know this person's circumstance, I don't know what's going on in their life, but let's just say they don't have any earned income, then you might be getting a surprise tax bill from the IRS when you do contribute to a Roth. So we want to make sure that we're not over optimizing, and we want to make sure that we're considering, hey, what am I actually allowed to do? What makes the most sense for this situation given my individual specific circumstances?
Guys, I really hope you just heard that last point there. I'm going to give you an example of my mom. My mom watches a lot of my videos. She's no longer working, and she's like, Ari, I got to do this Roth thing. You keep talking about Roth. Who the heck is Roth? I want to do it. Mom, you can't do the Roth. But she wanted to. It sounds like that might be a little bit of what's going on here, and Caleb was able to see that and go, I know you want to optimize. I love that Caleb's even bringing up this superhero account example. Well, what if we want to grow money? It sounds like this mother-in-law doesn't need more money. It sounds like there's potentially excessive RMDs, required minimum distributions. Maybe they can start putting some more money into some assets that grow, even if it's not in a Roth account. So I love that. Now, if you resonated with the way Caleb's explaining this and you go, wow, that's something that I just didn't even consider. This guy seems really cool. I think my spouse would also like him. We need a financial advisor. Can we talk to Caleb? You absolutely can. If you go to our website, rootfinancial.com, in the upper right, you're going to see a little button that says see if you're a fit. If you click on that, you'll be asked to answer just a few questions, and then you can start talking to Caleb literally within a week, and you can get all those dollars that walk and jog and sprint, and you can make fun of me and my speed along the way, and Caleb will laugh when you tell him that. Now, this is truly what we love to do. It's holistic financial planning, tax, estate, withdrawal, insurance, healthcare. We want to make sure that you're never thinking, is there something I'm missing? What couldn't I know because I'm just not doing it all day, every day? This is what we love to do. Now, I only have one request. Whether you work with Root or you're not working with Root, I only ask, because we make all this content for free, for you to please like this video, please comment if there's something that you learned, and please share it with someone you want to retire early with. That's it for this video. We'll see you guys next time.